Welcome back to our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for taking your time to tune in to our show. We don't take your support for granted. If you are watching for the first time, please take a second or two and subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell to allow YouTube to notify you. Again, thank you very much. The events that took place yesterday in Raila's current home has exposed quite a number of things. When Raila Amolo Odinga declared his intent to become the African Union Commission chairperson, questions were raised. And people were pointing fingers at the US. Others were wondering whether it was Raila's sole idea. Because after the declaration, Raila has gone quiet. He has taken a back seat. And people are wondering what exactly is happening because the country continues to deteriorate in the hands of William Samoei Ruto. From where I sit, I pointed out that maybe Raila was giving a chance to the other Azimio leaders to showcase what they're capable of. People like Babu Owino, Kalonzo Musyoka, Joho, for them to come out because there were quite a number of, problems that Kenyans were going through. But yesterday, when Meg Whitman visited Raila, there's something that Raila said, and that is where I want us to start from. Number one, it was not Raila who went to Meg Whitman's office. Neither was this visit conducted in Raila's office, but it was in Raila's current home. And Raila says that we hosted the US ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, this morning. And look at what Raila says that they discussed. That they discussed issues including flood emergency and assistance efforts. I mean, things to do with flood are conducted by the president. This is a government's affair. And so, even if Raila says that they discussed, I know there's no full capacity in Raila's hands to handle flood. That is why he can only criticize the government and tell them do this. So when Raila tells us that they discussed things to do with flood, I don't know. And then they say that they also discussed US investment in Kenya. I mean, today, Raila is a very powerful leader, very popular. In fact, is more popular than any other leader in this country. But then, how would the US start discussing investment? This has been Meg Whitman and Ruto's affair. The other time when the US organized for an African summit, they went there and Meg Whitman has been marketing US in Kenya and marketing Kenya in the US. Raila has never been anywhere. So these two, to me, are just, they're not the real things that they discussed. The real thing that was discussed is here. And my candidature for the African Union Commission chairmanship. That is the real thing that was discussed. And the reason why I believe this was the main thing that was discussed, the others could have been, by the ways, any other agenda, is because after that, three things have happened that have really raised eyebrows. Raila, who has been very quiet when the capitation fee was not reaching schools in time, Raila did not talk, even though the Azimio coalition spoke and we believe they were speaking on behalf of Raila Amolo Odinga. When doctor strike started, and it has gone for some time, for a while now, people like Opeyo Wandayi, Kalonzo Musyoka kept on talking, Martha Karua, the Azimio, but Raila himself was very quiet. Even when the floods have been raging, Raila has been very quiet. And we've seen them working with Ruto here and there, Ruto helping him to campaign. But yesterday, after the visit by Whitman, Raila went on an explosive tour and he criticized William Ruto. He attacked William Ruto. Raila talked of the clueless government that cannot help Kenyans as floods are raging. And Raila even told them that if it were Azimio that was in government, things would have been very different. And people were wondering, was there a connection between Raila's explosion and Meg Whitman's? And thereafter, just 20, I think this is less than 24 hours, Raila's lawyer Paul Mwangi tells us something that, firstly, I can tell you that the AU job is not a life and death deal for Baba. He would not sell his soul for it. And secondly, I wish you knew how many Kenyans out there are so unhappy about the AU job that they would believe God answered their prayers if Baba didn't get it. So they spoke about AU Commission chairmanship, and then Paul Mwangi throws this jab after Raila has criticized the government. All this time has been very quiet. And then the two majority leaders, the majority leader in the National Assembly, Kimani Chungwa, and majority leader in the Senate, Aaron Cheriot, goes on a rampage, and they attack Raila, telling him that we are creating a job for you, we are campaigning. William Ruto is busy working for Kenyans, and then he goes out to campaign for you. Why can't you have some discipline? Why are you attacking the government? So the connection is clear. Meg Whitman and Raila talks about AU. The majority leaders expose what the government thinks about the AU and how Raila is supposed to behave. And then Paul Mwangi tells them it is not a matter of life and death. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you realize that there is a connection between the AU job and how Raila is supposed to behave. And when you go further, this is something that people are discussing. When Raila started, there had been allegations of how the hurdles that he had to climb, until finally it was agreed that it is the time for East Africa. And for sometimes it seemed like Raila was the sole candidate in East Africa, having been endorsed by Uganda's Yoweri Museveni, Tanzania's Samia Suluhu, Rwanda's Kagame, Djibouti, Congo's, it was seen as if East Africa had endorsed Raila. Then before we knew it, we had two candidates. Djibouti's foreign minister, Mohamed Yusuf, who is the foreign affairs minister, that also plunged into this seat, the coveted seat of the African Union Commission. And then Somali's former deputy prime minister, who is now the federal, a member of the federal parliament, called Fawazia Yusuf. And then at some quarters, I understood that there could be some sabotage, because the francophone countries have got penchant of voting for their people. And so with the entry of these two, experts were discussing that there could be sabotage, and either US or France or both of them were in it. And so when Meg Whitman went to Raila's home, something clicked my mind. Could it be that Raila has just realized that the US is trying to sabotage or trying just to manage Raila Amolo Odinga? Why? According to the Kenya Kwanza team, Raila is not supposed to speak when matters are going wrong in the country. If he does, then he's reminded that we are creating a job for you. Is there a possibility that Raila just maybe confirmed or confronted Meg Whitman? Because if they say they talked about the AU Commission chairmanship, what did they talk about? Meg Whitman does not vote. She's a foreigner. She's not an African. What could they have discussed? And I've got a feeling that they must have discussed the candidature of these two. Because someone says, or there is an opinion, that the candidature of Djibouti's member of parliament and Somali could have been triggered by foreign masters. We are being controlled by foreign masters, and this is something that I've said here over and over again. So Raila was very mad, and I think he's realized there is sabotage. Number two, Raila must have been told that now henceforth you don't need to talk, because ever since Raila, declared his interest in this seat, Ruto has been behaving with some kind of impunity. They do whatever they want because Raila has been very quiet. And in fact, when General Gola died, and he was directly or indirectly linked to Raila's candidature, when Uhuru promoted him, it was believed that he was strategically placed to usher in Raila's victory. And when they went to Bomas, thanks to that SMS that saved him, because he really proved that he was not interested in politics. But they accused him of trying to overturn Ruto's victory, overturning it to give it to who? To Raila Odinga. So when General Gola died, Raila didn't say much. In fact, it was his brother Uburu who said what people thought were his thoughts and feelings about the general. Of course, Raila didn't keep quiet so much. He told Ruto to erase this tag that Ugola wanted to overturn his victory. But while Raila did not even attend the burial, but Uburu went there and spilled the beans. So Raila didn't speak, and people were like, what is happening with Raila Odinga? So when he exploded and started talking, people thought that maybe they reminded him that you are not supposed to talk when things are getting out of hand. And he must have refused that I'm not going to do this. There's another feeling that maybe Raila was told that moving forward, you must rally your people to support government's agenda. When there is a bill in parliament, and you know that Ruto's bills have been very retrogressive. You know things about Finance Bill 2023, how it's been very burdensome to Kenyans. And so it seems they were trying to compel him to start supporting William Ruto, for William Ruto to continue doing what? Campaigning for him. And he refused. And there's another report that finally they were telling Raila that if you want Ruto to continue campaigning for you, if you want us to continue supporting you, then you must retire completely from politics and you must announce it. Raila is a politician and is not sure about the murky waters of the AU politics that is also being controlled by the foreign masters. So he cannot commit. As a matter of fact, as Mwangi says, very many people, if you do an opinion poll today, many people do not welcome the idea of Raila going for the EU seat. Because number one, they feel Raila is being just managed. They try to compare it to what happened during the 2022 elections, when up-to-date people don't understand how Uhuru lost the control of the deep state. But I think it is because of the same Western powers. Number three, they feel that Ruto will now take advantage, because without Raila, there's no one who Ruto fears except Raila Odinga, because of the support base that he has. And they feel that if Raila goes there, then things will die. It will be a natural death, because no one will ever speak when things are bad. Number three, they feel that Raila is being managed. They are just trying to hoodwink Raila, so that finally when he's defeated, then he comes back with shame. And they will start, making this noise that there isn't anything that Raila can win. You see the way they are saying that we are creating for you a job and you're making noise. They will start making noise that, Raila cannot win anything. And so his supporters fear that he should not go there. Should he come back, then they will be very happy. And number three, people just feel that Raila should be on the ballot in 2027 because things have rotten. They have come from bad to worse. And they feel that the only rescue they can get is from Raila Odinga. Of course, this is a discussion that can take a whole week. Others will say he needs to now endorse someone and all that. But if you ask many, they don't support Raila's candidature. What do you think happened because it was Meg Whitman's visit that triggered the explosive nature of Raila Amolo Odinga. We've never seen him like this before. He has been very quiet. Someone angered Raila. And I know it surrounds the AU because that is what the Kenya Kwanza says. That is what Raila says on the tweet. That is what Mwangi says. It is about the AU, and it is about silencing him, muzzling him, and gagging him not to speak. Do you think Raila will be caught? Do you think he will keep quiet? And I believe Raila's behavior has shown them that he has rejected this kind of intimidation. We wait and see how things transpire, and I know the developments that moving forward will show us. If we are not careful, the next person we are going to see here is Chris Coons, the Delaware senator. He's the one who's sent when things are bad. If you see him, then you know that push has gone to shove. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.